Hey guys, it's Adam here, and if you're watching this at the time it came out, I just completed watching the Xbox E3 2021 conference, and it's a little behind schedule because today I woke up in New York City, Newark-ish, in New Jersey, and I caught a flight out to Anchorage, Alaska, which is actually where I currently am, and I'll prove it to you. Like, first of all, it's still daylight outside, and yeah, look at the, I'm sure you can see the mountains back there. Yeah, so I'm in Anchorage, Alaska right now, but, so that means once I got in, I was able to rewatch the stream and give you guys some notes. So I've got some notes here. So we're just going to do a quick little rundown of everything that was talked about there, and so, you know, just give you my first impressions on it. So, they talked more about Starfield, and this is a game we've known about for a while. This is something that Bethesda is working on. Now, you have to keep in mind that Microsoft bought Bethesda in between this show and last year's. So as a result, not surprisingly, a lot of the content of this particular E3 performance was about Bethesda content, and Starfield is a big project for them. Honestly, it doesn't really do anything special for me. Like, I'm happy to check it out. It just didn't mean a lot to me. I should actually say this up front. There was nothing in this conference that was like it blew my mind or anything. Me, specifically. Now maybe that comes with old age. There's certain things I want to hear, and I didn't hear any of those things. There was only one thing where I was like, okay, yeah, legit, I'm on board. That was a little surprising. But everything else was just either kind of an update to something or, you know, an announcement, in most cases, where I'm like, cool. or new games where there's just, frankly, not enough information yet. And I should also say I apologize because I am extraordinarily tired because I haven't slept in about, given time zones, I haven't slept in about a day, and the flight was like 8 hours long, and whatever, it doesn't matter. So anyway, the next game up was Stalker 2. This might have been, we already knew about this one, I'm pretty sure. It sounds familiar, obviously, because there was already a Stalker 1, although, to tell you the truth, I don't really remember it. But this game looked awesome. This looked fantastic. Like, I'm all about this. I want to play this. Looking forward to it, absolutely. Basically, it takes place in Pripyat, where in Ukraine, where the Chernobyl incident happened. It's kind of an FPS type of adventure game that seems to be going on over there, and that just looked really cool. The next one up was something called Back for Blood. This looked like it would be cool if you're into those type of games. This is like a big multiplayer type of game, you know, peer-to-peer stuff where, was it peer-to-peer? Or no, whatever. It's some sort of multiplayer game. Again, if you're into that type of thing, it'd probably be a lot of fun, but to me, it's just kind of, whatever. Contraband. This one just had a trailer. It seemed to be an announcement trailer, but it really didn't consist of any actual information on what the game is. It's just kind of letting you be aware of its existence, so there's not much to say about that. Sea of Thieves. There was this, so first, Sea of Thieves is getting some sort of expansion based on Pirates of the Caribbean, which is kind of cool. I think they actually got Johnny Depp to voice Captain Jack Sparrow and all that. That was kind of neat to see. But I won't lie, this was actually one of my biggest disappointments. Not because the game itself is bad or anything like that. It's because, to tell you the truth, when they showed the rare flag or insignia at the very beginning, once again, I was hoping that we were looking at finally a Conker's Bad Fur Day sequel. Didn't get it. Yeah, not that there was any reason to think we would. It's just that every time I see the rare logo, I just hope for the best. Once again, I got to apologize for any sort of audio or video quality problems. I am doing this on my phone in a hotel room in Anchorage, Alaska, so give me a break. But anyway, next up was Battlefield 2042. I've never been a big fan of the Battlefield games, so like it's probably fine. DICE is making it. It'll probably be decent enough. Hopefully EA doesn't do anything really too stupid with it, but you know, if you're into Battlefield, I'm sure you'll be fine with that. 12 minutes. I actually remember this being announced last year, and there being very little information on it. This didn't really expand on that all that much, except that they have this like star-studded cast. Like Daisy Ridley's in it from she played Rey in the Disney era Star Wars movies. Willem Dafoe is in it. So I'm very curious to see what that game is actually going to perform like once it's out. But you know, you still have my interest on that one. Next up, Psychonauts 2. Cool. Again, not a secret. It's just a big update saying like, here's the gameplay. This is what it looks like. Looks like Psychonauts. So if you like Psychonauts 1, awesome. We're finally getting that second one. So hopefully it's pretty decent. Then they just did a big thing about some Bethesda games getting a bunch of Series X updates, a bunch of stuff. Bethesda games are coming to Game Pass, and some of them are getting various updates. I think Doom Eternal is getting some sort of 4K update or something like that. That's going to be Series X enhanced, not surprisingly. And then they just kind of started talking about some of their legacy content. Not a whole lot of it, but some of it getting like, you know, updates in that regard. Then they talked about 2 different DLC packs for Fallout 76. The first one is called Steel Rain, and the other one is called The Pit. Not gonna lie, don't really care about Fallout 76 all that much. Initially, you know, I thought it looked kind of neat, but then it became Fallout 76, and you know, I never went to it. So whatever. But yeah, it's getting 2 big DLC packs. To their credit, they didn't abandon the game. You know, they actually continue to support it and release new content for it. You know, props. Elder Scrolls Online is getting a whole bunch of updates. I don't know. Party Animals. I think this was an announcement, but the game looked super familiar to me, and I was trying to place it. I was like, have I seen this before? Or, you know, what's the deal? Then I realized what it was. It looks and plays, or at least it seems to play, exactly like a little game called Gang Beasts. Have you ever heard of that? It's like with this, like, it's like basically like a fighting game, but with like floppy physics. So you have a bunch of cutesy little animal type of things that are fighting each other, but they're just kind of smacking into each other. Look up Gang Beasts and then look up this game and tell me they don't look very similar. At first, I legit thought, once I made that connection, I was like, oh, is this like some sort of Gang Beasts like DLC or like a new iteration of Gang Beasts? No, it has nothing to do with that. It just looks exactly the same. Not saying that's bad. Just my impressions. Then there was a game called Hades, which looked like kind of a traditional, like very old school era, like dungeon crawler type of game. Cool. Somerville. Don't remember this at all. Sorry. Halo Infinite. Yeah, obviously that was like one of the big ones that everybody's looking forward to. And there's guys who will be they have entire careers dedicated to talking about Halo. I'm not going to be able to offer you a whole lot of insight on that one. So Halo has never been my franchise. Nothing against it. It's just, there's people who care so passionately about that. Let them deep dive into that. But Halo Infinite, yeah, there was a lot of updates about it. Diablo 2 Resurrection. I don't know if this was announced previously or not, but Diablo 2, obviously one of the most infamous like RPGs of all time, is getting something called Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it looks like they're doing a complete, you know, remaster of the game. I don't know if it's a remake or a remaster necessarily, but it's coming back. So that'll be a thing. Plague Tale. This is not ringing a huge bell. I just kind of remember it starting out like being about some sort of plague, which is oddly appropriate given the world we live in at the time, but then I think it was mostly a trailer and no real gameplay type of thing. Far Cry 6, if you saw my Ubisoft conference thing, or if you know anything about me at all, you know I love Far Cry games, so I'm all over this. This really was just more footage and more stuff from the Ubisoft conference, like more detail on Far Cry 6. So there's not really much else I have to say other than like Far Cry 6, like I'm day one, like all over that. You've already sold me Ubisoft. I don't need anything else on that one. Slime Rancher 2. I never played the first one, even though it's a Games with Gold game at one point. But yeah, either this was an announcement or just an update. But either way, yeah, Slime Rancher 2 is going to be a thing, and there's more content on that. Shredders. Oh, you're right. This was a sports one. This was about like snowboarding. Not really my thing, but you know, again, there's obviously an audience for those things because they keep making new ones like that, so very cool. Atomic Heart. This one, I didn't know. I had never heard of this. I've never heard anything about this game. It looked awesome. Now, I'm sure people will argue with me on this one, but my first reaction, looking at that gameplay, looking at that footage, I was like, this reminds me a lot of the first BioShock. Not in like the underwater type of environment or anything like that, because it wasn't underwater, but just in like what appeared to be the quirkiness of it. It was like an FPS type of thing, but with a lot of strange, quirky, gameplay mechanics, as well as weapon types, odd enemies. And then as I had that thought, it kept going. You know, like you would see certain enemies that kind of look like little, the crack addicts type of people in BioShock 1. That's how it felt to me. If it plays anything like that, I will be a happy camper. Replaced. Sorry, no, I don't remember that one at all. Grounded, Shroom and Doom update. Yeah, it was just some... this was a game I don't think I ever heard of, but apparently it's getting some new update modes with DLCs or something. Among Us is getting an update. Yeah, alright. I know Among Us is like one of the most popular games like of all time, apparently. But that's one of those moments where you just realize you're old. Like, you see the most popular game in the world and you're just like, I don't get it. It's like right there with Minecraft. I don't get it. But I'm old. That's what that means. But either way, you know, if you're into Among Us, you probably knew about this 6 months ago. Eiyuden Chronicle, or Eiyuden Chronicle, some sort of RPG. It's like an anime RPG. Like, you're combining two things I absolutely do not have any interest in whatsoever, so I don't have much to say on this, but there's some sort of a new game or update there. The Ascend, I mean, I just watched it and I already don't really remember, so sorry, no. Age of Empires 4. I don't think this was previously announced. Now, Age of Empires is like, you know, an all-time classic, particularly Age of Empires 2. Big-time PC game in the 90s, or late 90s. I remember a ton of people having that. It's kind of hard to believe they're only on the 4th one, but as a Shenmue fan, I can kind of understand. But yeah, that's going to be a thing. So it's not really my type of game, to be totally honest with you, but, you know, it's cool that that's going to be a thing. Okay, hands down, the best trailer of this entire thing goes to this game, Outer Worlds 2. Now, Outer Worlds was a big deal because it was basically the Fallout sequel that Fallout 76 was not. It was made by Obsidian Entertainment, and it was the same devs who actually made, like, I think it was Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And they didn't end up doing the sequels. They didn't do Fallout 4, if I remember correctly, but they did make this, or the original Outer Worlds. But anyway, so they did a trailer for Outer Worlds 2, and it would perfectly encompass everything that makes trailers like these hilarious, because just go watch the trailer for this game. It was absolutely hysterical, especially given the context. They basically just make fun of E3 trailers with this game. The actual gameplay, as they even make reference to in the trailer, is non-existent. They don't have anything to show, so it's very funny. All right, the next one up, though, was the one that was the biggest whoa to me. Like, I was surprised. And that would be Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox Series X, which actually makes me very happy. And it's not surprising, again, I am in Anchorage at the moment. As I said, dude, it's almost 9 p.m. here and it's still sunny out. Like, that's very much a real thing. But anyway, point is, I fly a lot, so the idea of this being playable to me on an Xbox Series X is awesome. So yeah, I'm definitely into checking that one out. And apparently it's like right around the corner. It's like the end of July this year that'll be available. So cool. Forza Horizon 5. That's cool for people. I think this was a complete surprise. Forza Horizon, I know a lot of people love your racing games, and they're very well crafted. Just not my thing personally, but awesome. That's going to be a thing, and they're making a big deal about how it's all going to take place in Mexico and stuff, which is very neat. Then they announced a brand new, this was like their oh, and one more thing moment, was Redfall. This is a brand new game by Bethesda, and they showed like this extensive trailer that was really about the characters and the universe they exist in, and how it has to do with like vampires. It seems like they're vampires. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, they were in Boston specifically. And yeah, the story takes place around there, but I don't recall any actual gameplay because I think it's probably too early for that. The idea is just to get your blood pumping and be like, ooh, there's a big thing coming, and it looks pretty cool. And then the only other thing that seemed to be referenced is that they're going to be working on Xbox Series X themed fridges, like refrigerators. I might actually check that out. We'll see. But yeah, that was really it for the Xbox E3 conference. Overall, I'd say, just like Ubisoft, they're a little crippled by the fact that you can't have an actual live in-person performance. So you're limited to this like digital ecosystem version, which it kind of sucks the energy out of the room a bit, but because there is no one in the room. But yeah, no, it was fine. All things considered, the way they presented it was totally acceptable. It didn't have much of the like, we have a guy come out and talk about thing. I mean, that happened at the little bit at the beginning and a little at the end with Phil Spencer specifically. But overall, it was fine, and, you know, I can't say they necessarily won, because not everything's happened, but we'll see. I'm going to try to do this for the Nintendo Direct. I'm still going to be in Alaska at the time that happens, but I'll make an attempt, and I'll put it up here if you guys want to see it. So yeah, that'll about do it. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you could go into the description and follow me on all the Instagrams, Twitters, Facebooks, all that stuff, Discord, Patreon, what have you. Like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate that. Thank you guys all very much for watching. I'll give you one last look at the mountains in Alaska way out there. Hopefully you can see them, and yeah, I'll show you guys some more footage of stuff later of mountains and things. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.